Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Lal-ain and welcome to Lal-ain's Diary. Okay, so today we have a very special guest who is coming to our show to talk about herself and many more new things that I guess will also be new for me. I'm very excited for this interview with her and was already well prepared with many interesting questions. I watched her different interviews with many different people who asked them, professional questions to her. But as you know, that this platform, Lal-ain's Diary, always ask some unique and interesting questions just for fun. So let's invite our guest and have a nice little friendly talk with her.
Hi, Lal-ain. It's so incredibly amazing what you're doing. I'm just so honored and grateful to have a conversation with you. You're just beyond beautiful individuals, and I know we were talking prior and just having conversation with you. You're this incredible, beautiful spark of light in the world, and with what you're doing for kids and teenagers, I just am so heartfelt and just so amazed with what you're doing.
Okay, hello, Chanie. Thank you very much for coming to my show. And it's also, really great to have you as guest in my show. And I was, really excited for this interview. Okay, so first of all, can you give an introduction of yourself so that the people, viewers, or audience could also be known from of you?
Sure. So a little bit about me.
Okay, it was my mistake.
Oh.
Sorry about that. That was a little bit mistake.
That's okay.
Okay, you can
That's
continue.
exactly how it was meant to go. So a little bit about me is I did 3 years of high school. My high school, a local school in New York, closed down, so I had opportunity to merge 11th and 12th grade together. I had opportunity to start college when I just turned 17 years old, and I received a degree in liberal arts when I was 20, and then I decided to go to graduate school and to receive a degree in occupational therapy. So I received a master's degree when I just turned 23, and now currently I'm in school for my doctorate in occupational therapy. And early on with my professional life, I always knew that I wanted to work with kids, and I've had the honor and privilege of working with children 0 to about 14 years old and teaching them different occupational therapy skills. And especially for children and for teenagers, their primary occupation is play. So it's learning, and I have the ability, and I love doing this, is just tapping into children's lives and what do they love to do, and creating different activities and skills to really help with their development, whether it's to be able to read or to write or to have conversations with friends or with family. Had opportunity to teach you different skills, especially within the school setting, to really help kids be able to live and feel and empowered as best as they can, depending on if they have a disability or not, with whatever discipline or whatever they have had, whether they have physical disability, whether they're having difficulty with seeing, or maybe they're having a limb that's amputated, maybe they're having difficulty with walking, maybe they're in a wheelchair, whatever it may be, with any individual, with any child, with any person, as a way to help them be confident and feeling secure and empowered with their skills and with their abilities that they can achieve beyond that they can imagine. And that's a big thing when I'm working with children and when working with parents, is cultivating this ideology of that anything that you set your mind to, that you can do, nothing big, whether it's big or small or anything in between, have the ability to achieve it. If you dream something, you can achieve it. The idea is you need to take steps in order to be able to do that. And that's a lot of what I instill with with the parents that I work with, and with the children that I work with as well.
Wow, that is so great. You briefly defined yourself, and that is so great. Okay, I don't know why this is happening, but there's a problem with the broadcast. Okay, now it's been fixed. I've tried it. Okay, so your introduction is really great, and
Thank
you
you.
are a really kind-hearted person, I think.
Sorry, it got
You
a
are a
little
really
choppy.
kind-hearted person.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I've
Okay.
experienced a lot of, as a kid, I've experienced bullying. I've experienced look very different than a lot of my peers. I have like blonde hair and blue eyes, and a lot of my peers did not look like me, and I kind of really stood out. And people would kind of like make fun or belittle or be really mean. And at a young age, even though people would, let's say, pull my hair, they would take my snacks away and they would make up rumors about me, and it really had an impact and it really hurt me a lot as a child and as a kid. And I knew that this is something I want to be. I had the opportunity to be like a bully, and I had the opportunity to do like a bully and to be mean and cruel and not nice to other people. And I decided at a very, very young age that I want to be opposite of what people are doing to me, because I want to bring love and kindness into the world. And I bullying did have an impact to a certain degree, and I would talk to adults and the grown-ups in my life about it, and nothing really was done about it. And I ended up going within myself and cultivating this shell of really being really quiet and not really interacting with other children and other people. And my confidence like went really, really down and was really, really low. And I realized that I want to cultivate and bring in love and kindness to people. And then as I got older, when I was in my early teenage years, I was like, anything that I do, I really want to radiate this kindness, because I know what it's like to have felt really unkind and really not worthy and really not important. And I knew that I was going to do the opposite. And then over the years, through a lot of reading and teaching and speaking, I've learned to create this 360 of being worthy and being empowered and really trying as best as I can to bring this love and this kindness into the world and into people and to everyone and anyone that I meet, whether a person is young or old or any race, any ethnicity.
Oh, wow, that is so great. Okay, I wanted to ask you, can you tell us what are your, hobbies and interests?
Yeah, so I love to read. My newer hobby is I love to write. I'm actually about to publish my first children's book called Breath, 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 and it's for children. I would say 2 till about 12, 13 years old, and it's all about meditation. And so that's another hobby: meditation and mindfulness, self empowerment. Those are things that I really enjoy to do as well. When I'm not writing or working or teaching, I love to bike ride and be out and about in nature on hikes. Since COVID, I haven't really had opportunity. I'm not really traveling anywhere, so I'm making it my mission in being in New Jersey now for most likely the next couple of weeks to discover all different types of parks. And whether it's like a hiking park or whether it's like a nature trail park, whatever it may be, my mission is to discover new parks every week. And that's something, one of my hobbies. I love just walking and running and biking and being out in nature.
Wow, so I guess you really love traveling, do you?
Yes, I do love traveling. I've had opportunity to speak all over the world prior to COVID. I've been, I think, to almost more countries than I have to in comparison to like states in the US. I've been to South Africa and Panama and Israel. I've been to Duluth. I have been to Thailand. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Bermuda. I've been to Coats and Tincos. Like I've been to a lot of countries, and I'm kind of missing that. And at this point, I know that it's not a feasible option. So it just safety is utmost and vital, and especially flying is not really recommended at this point, and yet alone going to another country is really not safe. And safety is utmost the most important. As much as like like sometimes if you really really want to do something and you really want that new game or this new toy or you really want this new clothing or whatever it means, and sometimes really really wanting it, just the timing is not right. And for me, like I really want to travel and I just know realistically it's just not appropriate at this point. And who knows, it's just for these moments. Maybe in a week it will be, maybe it won't be. And it's just the realization of how really, really want to do something. Yeah, it's okay that I'm not able to, and I'm going to find something else and do something else until instead I'm going to travel, but travel within my vicinity and within my area, and travel to different hikes and travel to different lakes. Instead, it's not exactly how I want it to be, but it's the next best, and it's something else that I can do, and I have control over that.
That is so great. So, would you like to tell me your, favorite country or city that you have traveled and really loved traveling over there?
I really loved all the countries and all the cities and all the places that I've been to. If I needed to choose, I'm trying to think, where would I say my top like traveling place? I would say South Africa and Thailand. And in South Africa, there's an area called Cape Town, and the beaches there are like magnificent. I've never seen anything that like beautiful ever. And some of the hikes also are just overlooking trees and lakes and mountains. It's just really, 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 really beautiful and incredible. Another place that I really enjoyed going to was Thailand. Um, and in Thailand, one thing that I really love to do and I really miss doing at this point, and because of COVID, I most probably won't be able to do for a while. I am thinking about potentially coming to Pakistan, and if there's an opportunity to do this there. I was in Thailand, and there was a group of 10 young professionals, and we had opportunity to plant gardens for people in community that didn't have access to groceries like local foods, local fruits and vegetables. So I've had opportunity to do that, and within this community as well, we had opportunity to build street lights, and it's solar powered because otherwise the children and the families wouldn't be able to go out at night because this community had no running water, no electricity, no plumbing system, and they barely had any food source. So we had the opportunity to come in to plant these gardens, and we had the opportunity to install like lights. And it's something can't like personally imagine like growing up in a home with lights and electricity and plumbing and all these things, and these individuals like they didn't have access to it, and being able to have this opportunity to come in there and to see the humbleness of the people, and especially the children, and working with the children and playing games and sports, even though there was a language discrepancy. We couldn't speak the same language, but our nonverbal and the essence of the light and the soul of these children just having opportunity to play and to see the joyousness of the simplicity of things, of having a rock and having twigs and having these basic toys. And here in the States, kids have some kids, not all, but a lot of kids have all these game devices, and they have all these toys and these electronics and all these things, and they're just having a basic like doll with something like a value. And for here, like, okay, a child has $5 or $6, and there that just one doll of value. And it was just really, really eye-opening to see the simplicity of life. And that's really when it comes down to what life is about, because we can have the top games and toys, and I'm not even sure what's really important for kids or for even adults at this point these days, because I'm like, it's nice to have the nice things, and it's nice to have a phone and a nice car, but then ultimately life is so much more than that. Life is about the connection. Life is about having conversation. Life is about being of service, whether it's volunteering or whether it's speaking or reading or writing. That's what's life about. That's the essence. And the other thing, the materialistic things can like enhance it, can be really amazing. Yes, to have that nice car or that nice phone or that nice pair of shoes or that nice dress. 100%. I like having those things, but at the same time, the essence of things is more about the person and the connection that the person makes, and what is a person bringing to the world. How are they making this world a better place? Are they bringing love and kindness, and are they bringing faithfulness and more opportunity and more interconnection? That's what I think life is about.
Wow, that is so inspirational and surprising at the same time. Okay, so is there any kind of country that you still haven't visited but wish to go?
Yeah, there is quite a few countries that I really want to visit. want to go to Australia. I really have been wanting to go to India. Trying to think of other countries that I really want to go to. I've been wanting to go to Iceland and Ireland as well. And from all those places, I've really been wanting to go to India. I have a feeling, though, just because of COVID and safety at this point, just it's not going to happen for a while. But exactly when it's meant to happen, it will happen.
Okay, and I also heard that you, and I wish that you, reach to those countries that you wish to visit. Okay, so in your introduction that you said, that you gave us to write in the post, you said something about mindfulness. Would you like to describe it to us?
Sure. So simply put, we all, every day, we all need to sleep. We all need to eat. We all need some type of interaction with friends or with family. We need basic shelter in our lives. We need basic bed and basic clothing to be able to live, right? So mindfulness is really similar idea. In order to live, we need to be able to breathe. And breath is something with us everywhere, anywhere, anything we do. It's something that's always with us. And I look at mindfulness meditation as a way to be present by focusing in on the breath. So simply put, mindfulness is it's teaching and it's allowing individuals to be present in the right here, right now. And you're able to cultivate mindfulness through the practice of meditation, through learning how to be on the breath, sitting on a cushion or standing, whatever it may be, learning to be on the breath. And that's the idea of how to be mindful in everyday life.
Okay, that's great. So, how good is mindfulness in decision making?
So mindfulness can, if an individual is having some type of meditation practice, they're able to be more present. So when it comes to making decisions, if they're mindful in that moment, then their ability to make a decision may be clearer in comparison if they didn't have a mindfulness meditation practice. So if an individual has a really big decision and they're not exactly sure what to do about it, they may say, okay, I'm going to intentionally take some time to sit and meditate and to think about the decision. And through meditation, they may or may not be able to come up with a decision. If they're not able to come up with a decision, then it's opportunity to realize, okay, now it's not the time for me to make the decision. I'm just going to need to sit and wait a little bit longer. I may need to wait a day, 2 days, 5 days, or a week. And it's the allowance of cultivating this space to realize, okay, I need to make the decision. I want to make the decision. I'm not 100% feeling clear when to make the decision. And I'm just going to take some time to sit and to be with it and then decide, what am I going to do?
Okay, so can you tell us meditation? My mother has told me about it, but I understood a little bit. What is a good control to meditation?
I would say a good way for meditation and the key and the utmost is the breath. And the idea is, so it can do very simply meditate, like an idea of meditation is really noticing the breath. So let's say if we're both breathing in and out, where are you noticing the breath the most? Are you able to notice the breath by your nostril area? Maybe the coolness and the warmness. Are we able to notice the breath maybe by the chest area as there's the expansion and the contraction? You're able to notice the breath by the belly. Wherever that focus may feel for you, it's just noticing that. And every time there's some type of thought like, oh, I'm feeling really tired, or oh, I'm feeling really sleepy. Noticing that thought, and every time you're acknowledging the thought, and you're back onto the breath. So I'm having the thought that, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight? I'm noticing I want to plan. I want to make meatballs and spaghettis, and I need to make some vegetables. I need to cut some of them up. Whatever it may be, it's noticing it, acknowledging it, and it's back onto the breath. And every time there's a thought, noticing it, back onto the breath, and using the nostrils, the chest, or the belly area as an anchor to be into the present moment. So every time I'm breathing, I'm noticing there's no thought right now. I'm breathing, I'm noticing, okay. And now, oh, there's a thought. I notice the thought, allow the thought, and I'm on the breath, back to the present.
Wow. Oh, That is so amazing. Okay, so is there anything special or specific to control a meditation? Because I found it difficult to control, maybe.
I hear you. So it's not really about controlling. It's really I'm noticing and it's realizing I'm finding it difficult when I'm trying to meditate. So what am I finding difficult? Am I finding that I am feeling upset or angry? Am I finding that I'm having anxiety? Am I finding that I'm having a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings? And it's noticing and acknowledging what am I finding, what am I feeling, and noticing am I trying to have control over that. And some of the times when we want to have control, it's coming out of a place of fear, and it's coming back to what am I afraid of, what is the worst thing that can happen, what is the best thing that can happen, how my mind might be creating stories of what if thinking, what if this happens, what if that happens, what if whatever it may be. And it's realizing that I'm really just going into it, sitting and breathing, just sitting and breathing, almost like I'm breathing in and out a balloon. I'm breathing in, the balloon expands, and I breathe out. I breathe in, the balloon expands. I breathe out, the balloon contracts. And it's the same idea with our breath. It's breathing in and breathing out, and it's noticing this balloon, and it's almost like looking at this balloon and having all this thoughts and all this concern and all this worry, and I'm breathing in, I'm just allowing, and then I'm breathing out, and it's just constricting, and it's expanding the thoughts, and then it's constricting the thought, and it's just the realization of this ebb and this flow, and this ebb and this flow.
Okay, that is so interesting. Okay, so would you like to tell us that should we be teaching mindfulness in schools?
Yes, I think that I think the Dalai Lama said if every child 8 and older was cultivating and practicing a meditation, and especially I think also with parents, it really can result in the world being more peaceful and more calm and collective. And I personally believe that every school, just like we need to learn math and we need to learn science and we need to learn reading and writing and history, this is up there. Like every day, we need to sleep and we need to eat and we need to be able to have basic shelter and basic clothing. And it's not any different. It's we're breathing all the time. So how about learning to come home to oneself through the breath, and depending on the children's ages, cultivating different practices that matches their age, never ever forcing, just exposing and giving opportunity and exposing and giving opportunity. And I teach at university as well, and I've had opportunity to teach mindfulness meditation to college students over the past 2 years. And the idea is also for students that are very disinterested, it's like, okay, I'm not forcing you, don't have to. You'll be in the classroom, the class is expected, let's say for 10-15 minutes to sit and to do some type of practice. Just sit, listen, go into it with an open mind. If you don't want to practice it, put your head down on the table, whatever it may be. And the same idea when we're working with children, you don't want to do it, that's okay. Now this is what the class is doing. We're just sitting and we're just going to listen to it. It's okay for you not to participate. It's okay for you not to want to do it. It's okay for you to have feelings and disinterested about it. So the idea is when bringing it into the schools, it's important to acknowledge where the students at, and really when it comes down to it, it's about the teachers and about the parents. There is a theory by Bandurin, and we're parents and caregivers and professionals, we serve as models. So if we want individuals to have a mindfulness practice, if we want, let's say, a child not to be on their cell phone all the time, as a provider we need to model that. As a parent, it's something that needs to be modeled. Can't expect someone to do something that we're not doing ourselves. So the idea is for the teachers that are teaching it, it's important for them to model within themselves that they're having a practice, and then the parent or the child will ask, oh, I see that you're sitting and you're doing, maybe there's of interest, and just whatever you're modeling into the world gets radiated and transferred over to the people that is in your vicinity. And then people may ask questions and may have an interest, or they may not. It's okay. But it's just the type of person that you want into the world, you need to cultivate that and not have expectations that other will follow through. You can have conversations about it. And for me, like I'll have conversations with teachers and with kids and with individuals. And I wrote a book about it and I'm publishing the book on it. That's the way that I'm bringing it to the world. And I'm not forcing and saying at the same time, I do feel like school is a vital place for mindfulness meditation. And I feel, and I don't usually say the word should, and I feel like all schools should have this. especially for children. I think for kids over 8 years and older, also taking in consideration cognitive and developmental and physical abilities. But if a kid is cognitively and physically able to, and they're at that place, I would say 8 and above for teacher and for students to cultivate a practice, even just 2 minutes every day within the school year, or 5 minutes every day, even something very minute, can really have a transformative effect, individually and then and collectively, like all over the world.
Wow, that is so, amazing. I actually at first didn't know about mindfulness, but as you explained it to me, now it is so easier to understand mindfulness. Okay, so during our conversation, there were many people commenting in the comment section. So let's take their comments and see what they've got to say.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, so the first comment that we've received is from Lubna, and she's saying hello.
Hi.
Hi. And second comment that we received was from Santosh Kumar, and he's saying great. Thank you. Okay, and Lubna also added that excellent session. Okay, yeah, she's also watching it, and it's really great to have these people watching our show. Okay, Abdurrahman Sufiani also says salam. It means hello. You can just say hi.
Hello.
Okay, there was this question by Namir, and just if you know any kind of scales to measure a joy, oh, egoic mindset.
I personally am not familiar with any scales that measure hypoegoic mindsets.
It's okay if you're not familiar with that. Okay, and this person is also saying that both are going great. Mashallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and Mariam is also saying that excellent. Thank you very much for watching our show and commenting on it as well, Mariam. Okay, the Sufiani also said that this conversation is enhancing my knowledge. Oh, yes, it is also enhancing my knowledge as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so would you like to say something about this?
About
that your conversation is also enhancing our viewers, our audience knowledge as well.
thank you. I'm
It's really
incredibly
great.
honored to have conversation and to have opportunity and to chat and to just be of service of others.
Okay, and we also received the last comment from Lublamir, and she said that you can ask some questions if you want to know about mindfulness. Yeah, she's right. I could have asked many kind of questions about mindfulness, because at first I didn't know about it, but now I know very much about it. That is so great, and it's so great to know about mindfulness. Okay, so Chanie, would you like to tell me if mindfulness is important at the workplace?
Yeah, so mindfulness is very important at the workplace, and as I mentioned before, when the energy that we radiate into the world, our inner energy gets radiated into the outer energy of the world. So if you're coming into a workplace and your energy, or if an individual is very caught up in negative thinking, or very caught up in complaining and a lot of what ifs and a lot of future based thinking and a lot of past based thinking, how things should have been, how I want things to be a certain way, or I need things to be a certain way, that energy of what the person's experience can get radiated to the coworkers, can get radiated to the clients that they're working with as well. So it's the realization that what I put into the world gets reflected back onto me. So if I want to be able to be successful within my work, it's important for me to take that step back and think, how am I successful with myself? Am I making sure to take self-care time? Am I doing what I love? Am I having some space in my life to be out in nature, to walk, to exercise? Am I sleeping enough? Am I eating healthy? Am I not eating healthy? It's the realization, what am I putting inside my body? And that's ultimately getting transmuted into the world. So it's the realization of that. And when individuals have that realization and they're able to cultivate some type of opportunity to be present, whether it's through mindfulness or through meditation or doing something that they love, maybe it's exercising, biking, running, reading, whatever it may be, ultimately it can help reframe and refocus their thinking and their what ifs and their anxiety. It's not to say that the anxiety and the sadness and the upsetness and what if thinking is not going to be there. It will be there, but it'll just be transformed. And people in the environment, in the work environment, will notice that. Clients will notice that as well. So it's the realization, what I project into the world gets reflected back into me, and what I put inside my body, sleeping and eating and exercising, gets radiated and has an impact on my ability to work, and on my ability to be present.
Wow, that is so amazing. Great. Okay, so how do you think that mindfulness impacts entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship education?
So I feel like mindfulness can really have an impact on businesses, and it's really going back again to what I was saying, the energy of what you're feeling internally gets reflected outernally. And if you're interested in cultivating a business, people are interested in being around people that are connected to themselves, that they're able to have conversations, that are able to interact with other people, versus a person that is really having or really struggling with interacting with themselves, or really struggling with having the self-care practice. People realize it, whether they're able to articulate it or not. That's a whole nother story and a whole nother ballpark of it. But again, it's the idea of the energy that I radiate into the world will be impacted, especially if I'm creating or if I have a business, it's going to have an impact on my coworkers as well as the clients that I'm working with too.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so any studies on effects of mindfulness on sleep quality?
So I think there are a few off the top of my head. I do not know of any. However, there is research. I can't specifically say a specific study, but there are research to show that individuals that do have a mindfulness meditation practice, and for individuals that do not, the individuals that have the meditation practice are able to sleep better. Their quality of life is a lot higher in comparison to individuals that do not have a meditation practice.
Okay. Kenny, do you know that I'm also an entrepreneur, and these questions help us, me and more teens. Okay, so let's just ask some light questions, okay? Um, as you told your hobbies and interests, I would like to ask you if you like music.
Yes, I love music. I love listening to, typically at this point, I listen to a lot of, I'm trying to think of how I would call it. A lot of like calm and meditation type of music. I like listening to Kelly Clarkson, and I like listening to Pink. I typically am not listening to music that has lyrics, and when I am, those are really like the two artists that I like to listen to. I also enjoy listening to just instrumental musics as well, like guitar and violin. Sometimes when I am meditating, I do use music as well to help me just be a little bit more present when I know that I'm going into a meditation and I'm having a lot of thoughts or I'm having a really stressful day. So sometimes I will use music to just help me ground me a little bit.
Wow, that is so great, because I'm also a music lover and I listen to different types of music. So can I know who's your favorite singer?
At this moment in time, I would say Kelly Clarkson.
Okay, So as you told that you listen to some music that don't use words, but only background music.
I'm sorry?
As you said that you only listen to those kind of music who don't use lyrics but only use background music. You like those type of music?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so there's also one question for you that just arrived maybe. Uh, and it's asking that what are the benefits of mindfulness? Would you like to tell?
Sure. There are so many, and it's pretty much what I'm about to say is all research and evidence based. There has been rigorous studies to prove that mindfulness meditation can help with sleep. It can help with decreased blood pressure. It can help with the decreased anxiety, depression, mental health concerns. It can help with decrease of heart rate. It can help with individuals better be able to tolerate pain as well as trauma.
Wow, so there are not only just one benefit of mindfulness, but there are many.
Yes.
Great. Also, we've just received a new comment, and Lunami is saying that it's very impressive session indeed.
Thank
Okay,
you.
she is also, watching and enjoying this show. It's been, really great talk with you. Okay, so beside music, what else do you like to do?
I loved, and I haven't really had this opportunity in a while, going out with friends and going to different restaurants and trying new foods. And especially in the area that I live in, there's tons and tons of restaurants, and there's all different types of places to go to. There's dairy restaurants, there's meat restaurants, there's restaurants that have different types of Chinese food, there are restaurants that have different like Thailandian type of food, and there's a diverse type of cuisines that I really, really enjoy, and I love trying everything at least once or twice, and I'm all the first person to try like everything and anything because I love experiencing new cultures and new foods, and it's just I find it really, really incredible.
Okay, that's great that you like to go out with your friends and going to restaurants and cafes, trying out new things and trying out different types of food. That's great. I also like that. But because of pandemic, I'm just staying at home and doing different types of hobbies in this quarantine, painting, drawing, and listening to music. Okay, so I've got one interesting question for you. When I just thought of it, I thought that what was your favorite fairy tale growing up?
I love that question. Favorite fairy tale growing up, I would say Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty. Okay, so why did you choose Sleeping Beauty?
um, I really liked how there was this young. I kind of grew up with not realizing that fairy tale is not really based in reality, and I always had this as a child, this like image and this idea of this like young girl. She falls in love and like she meets this prince, and then let's say something happens, and then the only person that can help save this young person is like this prince, and then they live like he comes and he saves her, and he takes her away on a horse, and they live happily ever after. And this image and this fantasy was created at a very young age, and it was just something that I really enjoyed and really liked. And then over the time in my early teenage years, realizing that this is not really based on reality, and it's just cultivating and creating this non-existence to it. But then as a child, it kind of served its purpose and had its value. But then at the same time, for children, and some of these stories is not really the greatest because it's creating this an illusion of this fantasy. And when it comes to individuals, when they grow up and they have more of the awareness, and they're realizing, oh my goodness, this is not true. And then when it comes to dating and or to getting married, there can be quite a challenge because there's this early implantation of what this fairy tale fantasy looks like. So just being very, very eerie of that, and the realization that life is not sugarcoats and candy. It has its moments of that, yet at the same time fairy tales kind of depict that, and it's just realizing it. And especially for parents that are reading this to their children, telling them this is like a fantasy and this is not real, and it's nice and it's fun and it's great to read, but then it's also important, I think, for kids to realize that life is so much more beyond that, and it's not real, and it's fake, and it's a story, because life is not really like that ever. Even for the person that is the prince and the princess there are in Europe, and it's not like that. Even if you were at that port, at that place, which is not any less than or any more than, but even so, when a person is, it's really not the case, because it's all fantasy and it's all fake.
Okay, so I guess you like this costume a lot, maybe. Okay, so if you ask me, my favorite fairy tale, I would just, totally say about Frozen, Elsa. Elsa is my, favorite character because her superpowers are so cool. And as well, she is now was just a princess. She was a queen with a warrior heart. That's why my favorite fairy tale is of Frozen. Okay, so is there, any kind of question that you want to ask me?
I'm curious to ask you about your name. I'm not familiar with it, and it just seems incredibly beautiful.
Okay, my name, as I told you before, is Lal-ain.
And what does it mean?
It means gem of the eye. My mother gave me this name, so it could be, told as I'm the gem of my mother's eye.
And what does that mean to you?
It means it has a really special meaning to me because I also like my name a lot. It means to me that the meaning of this name would be that I am the gem, maybe. That a whole meaning of it would be that I am the gem of my mother's eye, and I thought it a lot about it, and I read it in my diary as well.
Amazing. So, so beautiful.
Okay, so would you like to tell us how you liked coming to Lal-ain's diary?
It's just been a really incredible and beautiful experience. I'm incredibly honored and amazed with your ability to articulate, and you're just so incredibly young. And I know prior, and I know it's listed on your page as well, how you mentioned this shy and quiet person, and you really come across as this dynamic firecracker who just speaks so incredibly beautiful and is just an incredible light into the world, and you're just so amazing.
Thank you so much. I also, really enjoyed talking to you, knowing very much about mindfulness and knowing about your hobbies and interests as well. It was the most, amazing interview that I've conducted. I really enjoyed a lot with you, and thank you very much for joining in our show.
My pleasure. Thank you. Am I the first adult to be on your show, or there's been other adults?
No, there were, many other people like you who wanted to join in Lal-ain's diary. So I've, conducted many interviews with adults as well as teens and kids.
Wow,
Adults came in our show to share their memories, share their epic stories. Teens come to have a friendly talk with us, and little children come to also have a friendly talk with us.
wow, that's really,
So
really
that's
beautiful.
how the show works.
Amazing.
Okay, so this was the last comment that we have received. Uh, so we're just gonna go ending the broadcast, but she just commented on the last. So thank you everyone, Mubashra, Hamji, and every other person who just commented in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching our show as well. It was so nice meeting you, Chanie, and I really loved talking with you. It was such a wonderful experience, and thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank
It
you.
was amazing. and I hope that you'll join again. Bye.
Bye.
So this was Kelly Messenger, and I hope not only me but you also guys enjoyed a lot talking with her and knowing so much about mindfulness and about her as well. It was so great talking, and as I told you before that I'm always curious about everything. So I just came up with this interesting question, and that's why the show was really great. And I hope that you all enjoyed as well. Thank you for watching and commenting on our show, and we'll meet in the next show. Okay, bye everyone.